Good morning. We're going to talk about the perimeter of a hexagon with an apothem of 8 units long. So we're not going to put meters, inches, miles on this. We're just going to call it 8. So let me just share with you some vocabulary words. Okay, first of all, this is a circle that goes around a hexagon and touches each vertex of this hexagon. We could say that's technically called a hexagon circumscribed by a circle. In other words, the circle goes around it and touches the vertices. This is also called a regular hexagon, meaning all 6 sides are the same length. Okay, and that's key. You can't do this with irregular shapes, polygons. You could do this with a square. You could do it with a pentagon, an octagon, and so forth. This is a hexagon, and we're going to find the perimeter, which means the distance around. So we're going to find out how long these sides are. Now, I'm going to take a dark color like blue, and I'm going to draw a line that's not an apothem, but we're going to call this the center, and I'll go right there to that vertex. That right there is not an apothem. Okay? It's not. That is called a radius, believe it or not. That's a radius of a circle. You can see it. If you ignore the pink shape, that's clearly a radius. Now let me show you what an apothem is. Apothems go from the center and they bisect the side. They cut it in half, forming a right angle right there. And our apothem on this hexagon is 8 units long. So that right there is 8 units long. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a layer, and I'm going to draw all over top of this. And I don't want you to write any of this down, okay, because your drawing will get all messy looking. There are something in polygons called central angles. A central angle are these, okay, including all that. So if you look at what the apothem does to a central angle, it cuts it in half. So it halves the amount of degrees in it. There's 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 central angles. Now, it's in a circle, which means it has 360 degrees in it. Well, if we divide that by the number of central angles in there, we would divide it by 6, which winds up being 60 degrees. So we know that, and I will go ahead and make that in there, but we know that this central angle, the whole thing, is 60, which makes this right here equal to half of 60, which is 30. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow this triangle up, okay, and I'm going to draw a little model of it over here. Something like that right there. All right, and where this is 8, and this is a 30-degree angle right here. Now, we don't know how long this radius is, but this problem is wonderful for a math teacher because you could phrase the same exact problem 5 different ways. I could say, okay, find the perimeter of a hexagon where circumscribed in a circle where its radius is 10. You know, and it'd be the same problem except you wouldn't know what the apothem is. I could ask you to find the apothem, and it's nothing more than a side of a right triangle. If this is 30, that's the adjacent side right there. This is opposite, and this is a hypotenuse. So the radius turns out to be the hypotenuse, which is pretty cool. So what I need to do, though, is to find the perimeter of this hexagon, which means I need to find the length of that whole thing and multiply it by 6, because there's 6 of them. What I'm about to do here to get this length right here, that's half of it. Do you see that? See that? That's half of it. That's from right here up to here. And if I find this out, that's going to be using opposite and adjacent. So that's tangent. So if I say tangent of 30 degrees equals x over 8, well, then I go or 8 times tangent of 30. Let's do that. 8 times tangent 30 equals, and that's 4.6. I'm just going to round it. So x is about 4.6. And get the brightest color I can find here. So that's, this right here is 4.6. And so is this. See that? From here to here and to here are 4.6. Together, the whole thing is 9.2 if I add that together. So to answer the question and move on with our lives here, what is the perimeter? Well, it'd be 9.2 times 6, which is 55.2. And that would just be units because we didn't put miles or yards or inches or feet on there. We just labeled it generic 8 whatevers. So it would be 55.2 units long, which would be the perimeter. An alternative to this would be to take the 4.6, I'll just show you this, and multiply it by, I ask you, what number would you multiply that by? 12. Very good. 12. Guess what that equals? 55.2. If you don't believe me, try it. So you have a choice once you do that, but you really don't have a choice because you have to get that side right there. And that's how you do it. So perimeter of a hexagon with an apothem. You guys have a great one.